Hi guys, this is Forgetful Scholar. Let's chat about books. So this week is She's a What Now? He did what for how long? He claimed what? So a lot of questions this week. Let's get into it. So the first one is going to be The Iron Fin Elemental Steampunk Chronicle Book 3 by Anne Renwick. Here we go. She does beautiful covers. She does. Let you get that for a bit. Okay. So, this one focuses, well, it's in the same world as the other ones, and this is where the other ones had the Duke's family. That was this. This is Mr. Black's family. So I was like, ooh, that was a fun surprise. Let's see how much I can talk about this. Okay, so the two main characters are Alec, Mr. Black's brother, or half-brother, and Issa, who is not quite a medical doctor, but she has all the know-how, but she was turned away from all the medical institutions because she's a female. So that's great. This happens in 1880s in England, I believe. Late 1880s in England, yeah. So, so it starts off really kind of fast-paced. Alec is part of the Burr, which is, to me, I equate that to like Navy SEALs. And he's the captain. He's the leader of the squad. And he gets badly injured to the point where he's like, don't take my leg. Get this doctor, don't take my leg. You know, so he has to get his knee completely reconstructed and things like that. So, of course, he is a Navy SEAL captain, but of course, he's also a doctor. Of course he is, because in these books, that's just kind of how it goes. They're all super brilliant, PhDs, MDs, all that stuff, kind of stuff. And he specializes in weaponry, so he's trying to figure some stuff out. We're going to leave him there for the minute. And then Issa, who is a widow, who I really liked that. Like, I haven't seen too much of that, or I simply haven't read too much of that, but I really like that. She's a widow. And she lives on a cute little houseboat, and she goes from community to community, a specific community, her community, to help them out. Because she's a Finn. So she's a non-mermaid mermaid. Or they kept citing the myth of the Silky, which I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I apologize. Basically, a beautiful woman can turn into a seal, but she's so beautiful that if you seal her pelt, she can no longer turn seal and can't return to the sea, and that's the myth they talk about a lot. So her people are called the Finn. I never saw it pluralized in books, so I'm going to try to keep it just calling them the Finn. They are born with webbed fingers, webbed toes, pointy ears. They can hold their breath like 20 minutes, I believe they said, underwater, and the cold doesn't bother them. But they're not mermaids, guys. They're just not. They don't shapeshift or anything like that. So, yeah. I found... Okay, so basically... I'm trying to get to the plot points. Someone is experimenting on Finn. Multiple Finn people are washing up on the beach with a tentacle that is half organic, half mechanical, sticking out of them. So someone is targeting this group of people who, up until now, is very hidden, very secluded. They don't really marry outside of their group and things like that. I'm trying, because the twists in this are a lot of fun. I enjoyed them, so I'm trying not to spoil that for anybody. I will say, for me, this book was a 3-star. I really liked it. I liked it more than the other 2 books in this series, and I'm still reading the series, so that says something. There's just a lot of technobabble in it, and I get this is the writer's style, and I understand that, and they're so enthusiastic about it that it's more endearing than annoying, but there is a lot of that. And there does seem to be some parts where whole scenes are cut out, and you can tell, you know? Almost like my editing. It's jarring. So you could tell that there is one point where Alec and his team are going to rescue some people who are kidnapped in a cave. you're not with them, you're with Issa on the boat, and she ends up fighting a monster, and good for her, she kicks ass, she's awesome, but you don't see the rescue, and I was like, oh, it's a little disappointing. It would have been cool if it went back and forth between his fighting scene and her fighting scene, kind of a thing. I will say, uh, it did fight against its own momentum a lot. Like, there'd be one scene, it's like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? The adrenaline's really high, and then the next scene will cut to the other character who's like talking to friends or talking to family, and it just kind of very much stopped the adrenaline, the momentum cold, you know? And I was kind of like, couldn't this have been put in a different part of the book, maybe a little earlier? Just because, stuff's happening. So, for example, Issa is kidnapped at one point because she is a Finn, so, they're experimenting on them and she's trying to help them, so of course she's going to get caught up in it like that. And he knows that and he's trying to find her and he goes, so we get a scene of her like being experimented on horrifically, and then it cuts to him talking to his sister. It's like, okay, maybe not at that point. You could have put this whole conversation in the beginning of the book when we're kind of establishing characters and getting to know them, because in the beginning when we're getting to know Alex, he does return home, and that's when we find out that Mr. Black, and we find out his first name, which is fun. He is his brother, and they have a sister, and they also have another brother, Quinn. So it's Mr. Black, Quinn, Alec, and Kate. And Quinn is talked about, but he's not really there, and he's kind of perceived as like this perfect brother, and he works for the Crown as well, and he's off on an assignment. So I really hope he gets his own book, because I'd be really interested in that. Kate, we get to know her. She likes poisons. That's what I know about Kate. She likes poisons. But I did really love the instant friendship between her and Issa. That was really cute. That was really sweet. The thing is, I think with Kate's type of personality, and the next book is hers, and I'm looking forward to that, because I think with Kate's type of personality, it's just too big and too complex for a secondary character to really get anything but like, oh, you're kind of obnoxious, So I am looking forward to the next one with her, because she deserves it. She deserves her own book. She's interesting. Like, I want to know that. It's just in this, she was like, shut up, we don't have time for this. People are dying. You and your poisons, just knock it off. And, stuff like that. And the thing that really bugged me about her, which is completely silly, she like barged into Alex's bathroom when he was taking a bath. And I was like, I have siblings. I would never do that unless they send out an SOS. Hey, I need help. I've fallen and I can't get up. I ain't going through that door. If there's a fire, I was not going to be like, hey, there's a fire. Okay. I don't know what this is about me, but there you go. So that was kind of the issues with it I found. But what I really liked about it is the two main characters were so dynamic, and a lot more dynamic, and I liked them a lot more than the other characters. The first book, I found the two main characters a little boring. The second book, I really liked the debutante assassin, but everybody else was a little cliche-ish. This one, I felt people were a little bit more dynamic, and they had like more complex history and what drives them and all that stuff. And Issa being a widow and from this kind of secret society of Finns and all that's going on, and how she's been screwed over. Like, she's been screwed over from people who she should be able to trust the most. So, like, I like her personality. I get why she is the way she is, and it makes sense to me. And Alec is very, like, charming and rascally, and I love that. All right. We do get a little bit more of Mr. Black's personality in this too, because it's his brother and he's trying to help him out. Also, Alex kind of working for him off the books with this whole octopus, tentacle, fake, real thing, killing people kind of stuff. So he's temporarily working for the Crown for that. And the storyline was really interesting, like the mystery and what's going on. That was I enjoyed that a lot more than the other two books. So I think this one is my favorite so far. Again, I'm really looking forward to the sisters book. I'm really looking forward to Quinn's book, but most of all, and that's probably why he's going to be the last one, I really want Mr. Black's book. I am so curious about him, like so crazy curious. So that's gonna, hopefully that would be pretty cool. So that's with this one, 3 stars. Yeah. The second one, he did what for how long? That one. This is the one that was kind of my problem child for the week. Okay. Okay. His Human Surrogate, Monsters Love Curvy Girls Book 2 by Michele Mills. Okay. Now we read the first one, and I thought was pretty fun. So this is the second in the series, and I have been warned that, there were some problematic things in this book that I might not enjoy. I still wanted to read it just to give it a chance. Also, the third book in the series is what kind of got me into these books, because it came up on Kindle, you might like kind of thing, and I read the summary and I thought it was interesting. Then I realized it was book 3, so I was like, oh, okay, let me start for 1, and because I'm that person. Even if I've seen a show 100 times, I will still start from episode 1 and continue on. I'm just that person. Compulsive. No. Oh, maybe. So this one, I'm not even gonna try to say the guy's name. I'm just gonna go by the nickname Chloe calls him, and Chloe's the female in this, the human female. So, Berg is the brother from Edgar from the first book. So this is his story, and Riley, the girl from the first book's best friend, Chloe. So these two have been talking over basically like internet talking, but like sci-fi version, for a couple months now. They became really good friends because I did like this. They have things in common. They liked antiques and restoring and things like that. So that's cute. And I will say, before I really get into this, I did read the trigger warning page, and I suggest everybody does that. That stuff doesn't really bother me. Like the issue of consent, I was like, oh, but let me read it anyway and read around it. I'm just kind of interested in the story. So the problem I have with this isn't exactly what's in the trigger warning. So, and again, what I don't like doesn't mean that you guys don't like. No kink shaming here. I just don't read books with rape because I don't think rape has a place in romance, personally. Anyway. Okay. Mini rant done. All right. I will say, oh gosh, what can I say about this? Okay, so Berg, he is a CEO of private security, but secretly, he also is the commander of a black ops group that saves his planet multiple times. And there's very dangerous things afoot, Um, okay, so I'm gonna leave that there. Chloe's been taking care of her aging parents. They passed away. And she kind of does restoring antiques on the side hustle, but she didn't really have a job. Her younger sister, who I absolutely hate in this book, and I guess she's fine, at the end or whatever, but like, wow. Very entitled. She got married to a guy that she really loves, back in Singapore on New Earth and everything like that. But the family hated her and demanded a dowry, and they didn't have money for that. So Chloe, needing money, signs up for surrogacy service to help out a couple that can't have their own child by regular means. And apparently on the planets that I'm not going to even try to pronounce, where the red aliens are from, humans are in big demand because Riley Anderson, the girl from the first book, is like insta famous there. Everybody adores her. So there was like a bidding war. Meanwhile, not Edgar, that's brother. Meanwhile, Berg, who's been in love with Chloe the moment he saw her and got, is really upset that she is on this and like she's gonna carry someone else's child. He was away on a mission. When he comes back, this happened, so he outbid everybody to be his surrogate. And I'm gonna leave that there because there's stuff about that that gets revealed. But if you read the trigger page, you know what's happening. So she goes to the planet because apparently between the first book and this book, it's illegal for humans to come on that planet. Now, the problem I have with this, the big problem I have with this, it like literally freaks me out, is that something goes wrong with his mission because this world, there's like political intrigue in the story. There's political intrigue and corruption and things like that, and he gets caught up in it. So he has to hide out. The thing is, he hides out in his house without her knowing. And at first I thought it was just a month. And I was like, oh, that's a little creepy, but okay. Like, he's in the safe room watching her and all this kind of things and other stuff that I'll leave you to discover on your own. And I was like, okay, that's a little creepy, but okay. I'm willing to power through it. It won't last long. Boom, 5 months later, I was like, what the? 6 months. This bitch has been hiding out in this house, living in this house without Chloe knowing. I got so freaked out. I was like, when did this silly romance novel turn into a horror book? I literally got up, checked my front door, checked my back door, checked my garage, stared at my dog for like 2 minutes. I was like, bro, you will tell me if someone's in the house, right? You will bark, right, Remy? You will let me know if someone's in the house, right? Bark, right, Remy? You will let me know if someone's in the house, right? He probably thought I went nuts. I felt like I went nuts. I was like, this is so scary. Like, I felt like I know I've seen like suspense and horror flicks with this scenario in it. I was like, wow. So that is what I had a problem with in this book. There is a happy ending, and the ending for the political intrigue is very interesting. Before I go any further, this was FM, and the book before it was FM. Sorry, I keep forgetting to mention that. That being said, okay, and her writing was a little repetitive, but not as bad as the first one. I think that's just kind of her style, and that's fine. Now, what I liked about it, because I don't know if you noticed in the past videos, I do try to say something good I also liked about the book, because writing's hard, you know, especially the independent writers. They don't have the backing of the big publishing companies, so I try to highlight what I did enjoy about these books. And yes, I'm a little harder on the traditionally published authors, but, you know, it is what it is. They have more support than the indies. Anyway, what I liked. I love this writer's sense of humor. I think Chloe was a fantastic personality, and it was more consistent than the first book. She did, there was a lot of repetitiveness, but a lot less than the book before. And I absolutely love this writer's world building, because it's just like a sentence here, a comment here, like very little, like there's not paragraphs on paragraphs, which some people do. It's very like sneaky, very subtle, yet it fills out the world really well. Like I felt like I understood this world. It just felt like a rich culture and a rich world, and it was done in a very easy, casual, blink and you miss it kind of way, and I do really like that. And I like the author's sense of humor. This one did not hit with me. So I am gonna give it a 1. I'm sorry, it didn't hit with me. Maybe it'll hit with you. But it's just the 6 months, man. Like a month, okay, you know, still creepy, but not that bad-ish. I understand they wanted to time it with like the birth. Cool. Maybe have like the political betrayal happen a little later into the pregnancy then, or have Chloe know like after a month he comes clean, and like, you know, they have some like that's a recipe for some sexy fun times, and that, you know, them hiding out together. I did like that the brother beat the crap out of Berg for this. I was like, yeah, everyone was angry with him. So that was good. But it is a happy ending on all fronts. So I'm still going to read book 3. I still enjoy this author. It's just this one did not hit. And that's fine. Third book. FM. Also sci-fi. This one also with aliens. This one is a reread. Johanna Lindsey's Warrior Woman, and this one is the He Claimed What Now? This is so old. Look at all the tape. This is published 1990. This is, I think, the 3rd or 4th book romance novel I ever read, and I only read it once. And I remember not particularly liking it all that much. Like, it was okay. And then I revisited it this time because I was like, oh man, that kind of reminds me, like, of that other, because the last book made me think of this one. And the alien isn't green or red or anything. It's very like Stargate kind of alien, like it's a human alien. So basically, Tendra, the girl, I miss these kind of covers, you know? Her planet has been invaded by sort of a barbaric race that is working with somebody. You know, I don't want to give too much away because this is a classic older Johanna Lindsey. So there's intrigue, romance, and then intrigue conclusion at the end. So I did really enjoy this. So she managed to escape, and she's on a spaceship, and she's trying to find allies because her people really are not equipped to fight off this enemy. So with help of computer and science magic, she finds a planet that inhabits very similar species as the ones that invaded them. And they're like, oh, maybe they could help because the ones that invaded them kind of were more primitive fighting, but it worked really well, you know? So she lands on this planet, and that's when she meets Challen. And on their planet, they have certain customs. And she is an unclaimed female. So he claims her. So this is definitely a captor-captive. And this was before, like I mentioned before, how romance novels kind of peered off, like the mainstream has to do certain things. And then there's dark romance and paranormal. And so, you know, this seemed to be the time where you could kind of be a little bit more creative and bring a little more other aspects into it. Because there is captor-captive kind of stuff into it. And like punishment kind of stuff into it, but not what you're thinking. Like, it's not what you're thinking. Okay. I really liked it this time around. I don't know why I didn't drive with it before, but I did read it a long time ago. But I would definitely give this a 5. I actually want to read the daughter story and the son story again, because I only read those as well once and I didn't particularly like them, so I'm wondering, like, maybe I'll like them now. Again, the main part of this, like the huge middle chunk, just pure romance until boom, saving her people. Spoiler alert, they save her people. And the scene when they go back to her home planet, I can't imagine how hard it is to write one fight scene where like one opponent against another, let alone one army against another army, and still make it seem really interesting, really intimate, like you're in the action. Like, kudos, Johanna Lindsey, but that's probably why you are one of the reigning queens of romance. So, makes sense. I really enjoyed this. At first I thought Tendra was from Earth, but no, I don't know why I had that impression. It never says that or anything. And the 3rd book is about the son, and he goes to Earth and finds his woman on Earth, you know. So this was fun, and I did like the different animals, the different cultures, and yeah, it was very much like an advanced barbarian kind of a thing, but I don't know, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. So that was this week. Get ready, because I'm gonna probably read their kids' stories too. I'm gonna see if I like them better this time around. So, No matter how hard I try to cut down these videos, man. Sorry about that. Anyway, I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.